Hey folks, thank you for joining us tonight. This is Reno News Now, also known as the ADHD Auditor. We are joined live tonight with Sacramento Community Watch, and we do
Hello, everybody.
Very important updates. Thank you everybody who have joined us tonight. We are doing our best to provide you breaking coverage. We do apologize for yesterday's little goof up. It was just a very long day for everybody involved. Of course, as you know, Sacramento Community Watch was recently arrested, and we finally got his court finally taken care of. So we're going to be covering that tonight and a few other things. So where do we want to start here, Sacramento?
Let's go ahead and start with court.
Okay, yeah, let's go ahead and do that. So yesterday we all went to court. Xander, the educator, who's in our chat with us tonight, we greatly appreciate him coming online with us, is going to be working with us as well. And he was there with us. And we basically got going to the courthouse, and we were all in a lift. And we were telling the Lyft driver what was going on. And it turns out that the road to the courthouse was shut off, and they actually dropped us off at the crime scene. So that was pretty...
At a traffic stop that we stopped at?
Yeah, well, we were kind of telling the Lyft driver what was going on, you know, with what was going on with court and why you got arrested. And he didn't quite believe us either, that you got resisting over that, you know. So he dropped us off there, and we kind of had to go walk around the block to get to the courthouse. And we came across some police interaction. So we wound up, everybody pulled out their cameras and started filming like we did. Go ahead and tell them about that.
Yeah, it was awesome. We had like 4 people out there. Everybody had their cameras out. They were detaining a female. Wait, no, it was a male. They were detaining a male. We recorded until they left. They were quick to put the subject in the back of the vehicle and take off. You know, they didn't want to be recorded, I guess. You know how they go.
Yeah.
So,
you know, that's how it usually is with the Reno PD, is they wind up, as soon as cameras get on the scene, they wind up putting the suspect in the back of the vehicle, and they start running away. We've witnessed that behavior during all the crawls that we've recently done, and anytime that you show up, they oh yeah, there's you know, Mr. So and so, you know, they know you by name now.
Right.
It's just you know, we're getting some good positive interactions from law enforcement officers,
right?
And we'll be covering some of that tonight as well. Just lost my train of thought there, trying to watch chat too. So, but yeah, no, what wound up happening is, though, we eventually got to court, and we met with, I forget Mr. Edgerton's first name. So Kyle Edgerton. So yeah. Mr. Edgerton in the Reno, Nevada area here, he's our, one of our public defenders here in Reno, Nevada. And, when Walt got assigned a public defender, you know, we were coming in under the impression, like most people, that the public defender is just going to try to do the minimal amount to try to get things, moving along and get
out
up
the
his
way,
case docket.
as quick as possible.
So you can move on to the next one. And usually that's what they're there for. Usually if somebody has done something wrong and they know they've done wrong, rather than, trying to do it pro se, they usually get a public defender. And it's always a good idea to have an attorney. As a matter of fact, it's just been a horrible week for First Amendment auditors because of what's happened now. This week so far, we've had Long Island Audit arrested for trespassing in a public place. We have Chili DeCastro losing his lawsuit, or not lawsuit, but bond hearing. It was a bond hearing for the appellate court.
Right.
He lost his bond hearing. And from what I heard today, just briefly, he was completely changing his tune. He came to a realization that he's lost so many court cases recently that he's come to a realization that he has to change his tune and rethink things. And that's something that the third bad thing, for First Amendment auditing is what happened out of Reno, Nevada yesterday with Sacramento Community Watch. It's just, unfortunately, we're going to be getting to that here shortly. So want to put it out there, folks. We are streaming live on 3 platforms tonight. Of course, Sacramento Community Watch, the Reno News Now, and the ADHD Auditor. Sacramento Community Watch is our community page where we're putting most of our information out there. Live cop watches and what we can do like that. That's what most of what our chief here does. There's Reno News Now, which is our news division. I tend to handle stories in the background. And the ADHD Auditor is my independent channel where I basically publish raw footage. So usually anything that you're going to see in live streams, we're going to go ahead and edit it out and make sure that we protect people's privacy first and foremost. That is the number one thing of journalists, is to protect other people's privacy whenever necessary, unless you are public officials and public records. And anything that we tend to publish that we get from public records, if we do further redactions to protect the privacy of such a Sacramento Community Watch, we ask other auditors and other people out there to please follow our guidelines and please redact any information that we are also redacting, even if you can get it through public records, please. And that's one thing that we want to put out there. The other thing is we're not monetized yet. Mr. Community Watch over here, he's about 1,000 hours roughly. I think it's even less now from hitting the first of the YouTube monetization thresholds to where we can get super stickers and actually put up a paywall to where people can get exclusive content. So that'll just further push Sacramento Community Watch to get out there in the public and record our officers in the line of their duty, which is also under law NRS 171.1233. So go look that up, folks. We've covered that multiple times on both channels. Other things, so the one thing you guys can help us with, and we're going to ask you folks here, is to please like, share, and subscribe to all 3 of our channels. If you get a chance, come back and watch it on one of our other channels, such as Reno News Now or the ADHD Auditor, just so that way we can get our viewership up on all these channels. So what's going to happen now is we're going to go over the court case. And again, we ask people to, because we're not monetized, to please donate through CashApp. Our information is scrolling down there at the bottom of the screen. It's I just seen it go past. I know mine. Mine's at Reno News, or $ Reno News Now, and Sacramento Community Watch. What's yours?
SACCW, I believe. Money sign SACCW.
Yeah, it'll scroll back down at the bottom of the screen here. And again,
I really forgot it, to be honest.
If you do donate, we will go ahead, and if you leave a comment in the Cash App towards the end, we'll go in through our Cash App and see if anybody left comments, and we'll go ahead and give you guys a shout out at the end of the video. So we got to court yesterday at about noon, I think, after we actually got done doing a First Amendment audit
Right.
Impromptu. It just kind of worked out that we all kind of got there with our lawyer, with your lawyer, Mr. Edgerton, and we had a good long conversation about who was going to be saying what and doing what and whatnot. Yeah. Again, Xander, the more you share, the more we can reach out to people. Again, whoops, it got away from me. Where did it go? There you go. The more you share, the more people we can reach. Exactly. Also, if you got an in with some of the more popular auditors, please send them our videos, point them our way. We're trying to get Sacramento Community Watch some money that we're going to be discussing here towards the end after the result of the court case here. So please, yes, anything you can give to Sacramento Community Watch, please donate to him first if you do. So he needs it. He needs it more than Reno News Now at this point. We got to court, and after talking to our lawyer, we all sat outside and were discussing what was going on next. And then they called everybody into court. They had a whole bunch of motions that they had to go through in the beginning. Just to clear some things off the docket. Basically, everything was prearranged. They just had to go through the motion in front of the judge. And then it came time for Sacramento Community Watch's case. So I'm going to get to the part where I was there, and then Sacramento's going to have to take over because it's going to be really interesting here, folks. When I started this, I wanted to be a journalist. I wanted to basically follow what Sacramento Community Watch was doing and try to document what he was doing for Reno News Now. That's how we met, is through the Sotelo case. Hoyt. So hold on a second. Can you go ahead and take it over for a second here?
Yeah. So we met at the courthouse. Eventually, we got in front of the judge, and they had all the witnesses sit outside of the courtroom, and he asked the attorneys were asking the officer a bunch of questions and stuff. That was just so irritating because you could tell the officer was lying about a lot of the stuff. And like we said, at the end of the day, I was charged with resisting a public officer for apparently not stepping back when the officer asked me to step back. And that's very, very unfortunate. We don't hear you. You're muted.
Oh, I'm on mute. I'm sorry there. Yeah. That's what Walt was there for. Court was for resisting a public officer. So when we finally got to Walt's case, the way I was going to start it here, I'm sorry I had an interruption, a family interruption. What wound up happening is the first thing they did was basically the prosecuting attorney was going. This is such a public case at this point that we don't want cameras in here. The judge agreed. And basically goes, yes, no cameras, because mind you, as we were going into court, everybody needs to realize you check your rights at the door. It's basically what the judge says goes. So if they say no recording, there's no recording. Nothing to that effect. So the judge was basically saying if there's any recording devices that are currently recording, there is no recording in my courtroom. You need to turn them off now. You need to put them away. And basically there will be no recording in the courtroom. So if there is video out there, it is not from the Sacramento Community Watch Network. I'm going to put that straight out there. It has not come from us. We did not have, we had our smartphones, but we were not recording in any way, shape, or form in the courthouse, period.
Cameras will see that.
I just want to make that crystal clear, okay? Because we don't want people coming back and going, you were recording, and find people in contempt. We were not. We guarantee.
Yeah, not at all.
So the next thing that happened was they basically told that they wanted to sequester the witnesses. So we wound up. because I wound up turning into a witness, had to leave the courtroom. So I had no clue from the time that had to leave the courtroom what was going on in there.
Right.
So what wound up happening was is all up to Sacramento at this point to kind of walk us through what happened in the courtroom step by step here. Xander, if you want to, I can send you a link and we can get going. I just need to get text it to him, I guess.
Yeah, it was all a flash to me. Like I said, the attorneys were asking the officer a bunch of questions back and forth. I guess that's called cross-examination. And it went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. One thing I will say is that, so my attorney had asked Officer Sotelo if he knew what was a lawful command in his eyes. What was a lawful command? And basically, Sotelo.
That's the one thing I asked your lawyer to ask Tyrant Sotelo.
And his answer was basically anything that he says while he's dealing with something lawful.
Exactly. So the thing is, folks, is a lawful order, as we've discussed before, is any lawful command given by a police officer with the full weight of the law behind it, meaning that there's a statute on the books that can be backed up by the penalty of law. So, but what Officer Sotelo said in court was basically anything that I said because I'm dressed up as a tyrant.
Right.
Anything I say, as long as I think am doing something, a lawful activity, like looking at a stolen vehicle, basically gives him the right to tell anybody on the street what to do.
To do anything.
So the problem. Okay,
it's super sad.
Xander, text me your email address, Xander. I'll send you over email.
And the thing that irritates me the most is that my lawyer didn't drive it home. He didn't let the officer know that is incorrect, and that a law or a lawful command is backed by some ordinance or some law, a code, some code of some sort. They never even cleared that up. It was like, no further questions, Your Honor. I'm like, oh, wow. I mean, it was just very difficult to sit there and just, allow that to happen the way that it did,
Yeah. And I didn't, basically after I left the court, at the beginning there, what wound up happening is, I went out into the hallway and I seen Tyrant Sotelo, and he was talking with the car victim and the car victims, basically. They brought the car victims back into the court to basically plead feelings at that point, from what I understood.
That's all it was about.
Yeah, I mean, let's see here. I just got his email address. Hold on 1 second here.
And you guys stay tuned because we are going to roll that arrest video. We're going to go ahead and show you guys the arrest video. Definitely disturbing.
Xander, I just sent it. Check your email. So yeah, I got to find that arrest video. So, but yeah, we are going to show the unlawful arrest video from Sacramento Community Watch's angle. The problem is I seem to have misplaced it on my network.
Sacramento, Lenny, you are so correct.
Go ahead and post tap on his comment and it'll pop up there.
Whose?
Yeah, oh, you just did it.
Yeah, I did it.
Go ahead and read it.
Court in Latin is bank. All bar attorneys work for the City of London State Crown Corporation Bank, an elite British accredited registry bar cards. Wow.
I'm trying to find that video. I do apologize, folks. I was trying to get it ready before the live stream, and I'm having trouble finding it unless we want to go off of your YouTube video. Oh, I think I found it. I think I found it. Let me copy it over here. Yeah, I found it. Okay, let me go ahead and get StreamYard getting it going here. Let's see here. Present video file. And please bear with us, folks. This is only our second live stream. We do plan on doing this weekly. And we will get better as we move along here.
Right. Every Wednesday at 8, we'll give you guys
Tuesday at 7.
Sorry.
Tuesday at 7. Oh, there's Xander here. So let's see here. Second stream.
I can add him to the stage. Oh, you got it.
Look like we have Officer Sotelo here. Reno PD.
Oh, he popped out.
All right.
It's going to be vehicle 192. It's going to be Officer Sotelo. We've had run-ins with him before. He has a really bad attitude, really bad.
Horrible attitude. This guy doesn't even know what a lawful command is.
I'm not in the street. Not in the street. You good? No, I'm good.
They don't teach them the law, folks.
Yeah, flashlight in the daytime.
There he goes, giving unlawful directives, telling me to get out the street.
Xander keeps dropping.
I don't know why. Yeah, Broad Angle, that was Xander the educator. He's apparently having some connection issues, unfortunately.
So what we're going to do is we're going to go down here. We're going to cross the crosswalk.
We're going to have him sit backstage for just a minute to see if he stays connected.
So we can get a better view of him.
So mind you guys, he said that I was standing in the T2 lane, blocking traffic, causing traffic to veer off into T1 lane. You guys let me know in the comments, did you guys see that?
Hey, Xander, if you're ready, give us a thumbs up.
How would he do that?
No, just raise his hand. Hey, there's Xander. There you are. Up in.
What does it say, Xander?
Every time we add him to the stage, he pops out.
Allows me to reload it, brings it back up, and as soon as he brings me in, it shuts it down.
Okay, so yeah, we're doing our best to try to get Xander on with us. He might have to pop in here in the same room with Sacramento, maybe. But if we need him to hop in, but we are working on getting him a PC to where he can also join us more often than using a mobile phone, because StreamYard tends to be a little bit wonky on phones sometimes.
Let's get back on the video.
Yeah, let's get back on the video, folks.
Time.
I'm not gonna look on my phone, man.
Yeah, I figured that.
So let's go ahead and cross the street. See what he says then. About, oh, get out of the street, you're going to get hit.
Yeah, he could care less about my safety. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
Especially how hard he slammed me up against the window over there. Tough guy.
Now we have all free range on a public sidewalk to be able to
Puppies got in
record.
here and are starting to play, so you might hear some barking, folks. I do apologize, or some growling.
210392 is that unique ID number for this officer. How's it going, Officer Sotelo? Stay over where? I'm on the public sidewalk, dude. There's no tape up. You don't know. So I'm trying to investigate.
Okay, and I want you folks to know, and one of the documents that the prosecuting attorneys turned over to the judge basically said, the Sacramento Community Watch said it was a effing sidewalk.
Sidewalk. When I clearly said this is it's a public
sidewalk.
Even Sotelo himself said that I said it was an effing sidewalk to the judge. You know, that paints a different narrative than what was actually said. You see what I'm saying? Crooked.
It does.
Crooked.
It does paint a different narrative. And again, the judge is in this pocket of the city. The police are in the pocket of the city. The city attorneys are in the pocket of the city. So the city's going to do everything it can to protect the city.
Right.
And, you know, I'll get more into that when I talk about me being a witness.
It's simply injustice. That's what it is.
So it is. But, I mean, you know, he didn't even give you time once you figured out that you were being too close to even have a discussion or to push you back. And guys, I want to point out to you here that we sat on the evidence. We didn't make it public because we wanted to respect the process. We wanted to respect the court. So we're in the process right now of going through and editing the body-worn camera, the evidence that I wound up making and heading to testify to, where I put both his body-worn camera and Sacramento's footage that we see here side by side. I put time frames, and I'm basically saying is like, look, this is what the officer is not doing. Okay, the officer is not doing this. The officer is not doing that. He is basically just standing there doing absolutely nothing. While Sacramento Community Watch is rounding the block. Folks, it's just absolute insanity. There's so many things that he could have done while waiting for his backup that he did not do. So we're going to give you the facts of what happened in the court case, and then next week, next Tuesday at 7, we're going to start playing Court of Public Opinion, folks. We're going to sit down and break down the video and let you folks decide what's actually going on, and while Walt goes through the rest of this process that he still has to continue. But more coming up, so we're going to continue here.
We understand. We understand investigations.
Go over there.
What's wrong with right here?
Because I can't have somebody behind my back while I'm trying to investigate.
Oh, I'm good.
You're not going to be detained, okay?
Why would I be detained?
Because you're being detained.
Okay.
My investigation. Okay.
Detained for obstructing my investigation. How in the heck is that obstruction?
You can't simply do your damn job.
I'm sorry.
Seriously?
With a person who has ADHD diagnosis, I'm not making a medical diagnosis, but it does seem like, you know, there's some medical diagnosis that needs to go on. You know, I hope him the best of health. Right. So we're gonna go back to this screen here. Okay, so like I said, they called the officer back in, and I'm glad that our Mr. Edgerton asked the lawyer, or asked the tyrant the question, do you know what a lawful order is?
Which he doesn't know.
Because, you know,
he's clueless about what a lawful order is.
That is one question I have been meaning to ask an officer since I started doing my First Amendment audits. Is like, I'm giving you a lawful order. Is like, my next response is, what's your definition of a lawful order? Because guess what? That I would be using that in the court of law as part of my suit against them if they continue to violate my rights. Did the officer know what a lawful order was?
Negative.
And at this point, it was a negative, you know?
But yet you're a police officer out here policing our streets, and you don't even know what a lawful order is. You know, it's funny because I bring up to him when he arrested me, I said, this is a violation of my rights under the color of law. He said, do you see the color of my skin?
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm not going to use the R word. I'm not going to use the R word. I'm going to let people come up with that word on their own when we show the video next week. Because, I mean, you folks do need to see the body-worn camera of what happened with Officer Hoyt. Now, Tyrant Hoyt, and it wasn't Hoyt, it was Tyrant Sotelo. Things get messed up in here, folks, ADHD. So, yeah, it's just so. Yeah, after they did him, they asked the witness what was going on, and we're going to do our best to leave the witness out of this because she was truly an innocent. In our opinion, she was basically re-victimized by the officer. I mean, court of public opinion.
Well, she had the nerve to call me weird. I mean, you're weirdly
and
built.
basically think that he stole the vehicle.
Right.
I mean,
She's weirdly built.
We're going to redact all of her information, definitely. But, you know, we are going to show the documents she signed and what she stated and point out some discrepancies with some of the documents.
Right. In court, you could tell she was obviously led to say a lot of the things that she said. Like, oh, my distance. And I was, come on, lady. We know how you guys do. We know how you do. You're coaching your witnesses and all that to say this and say that and stuff. It's just.
And a victim is going to side with the police, and it's always back the blue until it happens to you. That's
because I was recording
a mantra in the First Amendment auditing community. And Miss Prosecuting Attorney, I do hope you're watching because this is how you get a lesson in First Amendment rights. This is how you get a lesson in constitutional rights.
Are we speaking on Schumann?
About Miss Schumann, yes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm speaking about Miss Schumann.
Horrible.
Yeah. So I want to get into that here now because then it was my turn. So mind you, they watched all the videos. I don't know exactly what videos they watched or what order but I do want to let you folks know I did order the court record, the audio transcript. So we will be playing the court record in future videos as well. So please like, share, subscribe, join us, and come back and watch us on the live stream. And eventually we'll post it on our other channels as well for you guys to catch up. Please, yes, share. We need that out there. So when
there goes my CashApp down there.
Yeah, there goes your CashApp. Yeah, SACCW. Yes.
Right.
So it was my turn to get up there, and they had Mr. Edgerton asked me a few questions. Mostly about distances. How far away Walter was, and how we measured it, and things of that nature, because after one of the court dates, we went out there and actually measured it. If you want to, we can even play that video tonight if we got time. But I was honest and truthful and everything. And then next thing you know, the prosecuting attorney, what's her name again? Slips my mind. Miss Schumann. She asked me if I like or dislike Tyrant Sotelo. And I'm sitting there thinking, I was like, I don't have an opinion of him, whether or not I like him or not. I mean, I never met the guy.
Right. I don't even dislike him. I just hope that he does his job a little better and gets better training. That's what I hope
from a professional standpoint, I mean, he has a lot of work he has to do. I mean, I don't dislike him for the work that he's chosen. I don't dislike him for what he did to you. I mean, on a personal level, I have no ill will towards any police officer. However, if you violate somebody's rights constantly, like I have witnessed, I believe he should lose his job. I think he should be properly disciplined.
Flat out, especially if you don't know what the lawful command is.
I think police officers need to be held to a higher standard, and right now the standard is here, folks. Just on a personal level. I mean, they lack the necessary education to do their job, and it's not their fault. It's the members of Congress and your local elected officials who are not putting those policies in place to educate these people. Usually they walk in with a high school education and they do not have a degree in criminal justice. They go to a 6-week class or a 6-month class, depending on where you live where they live in the country. They get this they get a crash course, and as most of I know of any type of law is a week in DWI training. A lot of it's in firearms and tactical and whatnot. I mean, oh my gosh, you see some of the information that we have. And it's they don't focus on the Constitution. And
never.
I have some receipts on this with the Reno Police Department through Public Open Records Act. Unfortunately, it is bupkis in the court of law. But you know what? In the court of public opinion, it's fair game because you, the viewers, are the jury. We're just the armchair lawyers here, you know, the street lawyers, you know. But so then they had me also. They gave me still shots to look at as part of the evidence, and one still shot had Sotelo at the back end of the car, but it was from a shot that you took from across the street.
Across the street when I first started recording him.
When you first started recording him. And I'm sitting here looking at it and I'm going, okay, well, that's not where he was when Sacramento got over to the other side of the street.
Right.
He was further back, and then they were trying to make it seem like I padded the information. Mind you, I didn't pad any of that information.
Nothing.
Nothing. I based it on what I seen from the videos as best I could. I'm not a professional. I don't claim to be. You know, I work, like I mentioned, in the casino industry. You know, I have like I said in court, I have a business information systems technology, BIS and IT, from Maryville University in St. Louis, Missouri. So basically, my background is IT. I work in marketing for a casino. That is my bread and butter. And you know, and I have an interest in journalism, photography, and constitutional rights. And I also made mention of the auditing golden 10-foot rule. You know, hey, you know, it's just best to step back 10 feet because it gives everybody plenty of space. You know, you keep your arms up or whatever, you know,
And just to know, I was back 16 feet.
Yeah, and we measured it, folks. He was 16 feet from Officer Sotelo. He was 10 feet from the back of the bumper. Your mom, how should we address her on live stream? Mama Watch or Mama Watch. Mama Watch actually jaywalked. You know, technically jaywalked, and even though jaywalking is not really considered a penalty anymore, they kind of threw it out. Jaywalked across the street and was like right next to the car, and she was actually between the car and the officer. More than Sacramento was, you know, Sacramento was behind. So, and again, Mama Watch was ordered back to the alley. She never got back to the alley. Again, you know,
a few feet right there. She stayed right there.
So that was the whole thing there that they asked me about. And then they also asked me about how my camera showed this big blue wall on one side and the body worn camera, which is, you know, sworn evidence, to be not showing that blue wall. And then, you know, I don't have the answer for that right off the top of my head. I was like, I know what the answer is. I just don't, ADHD. So it's like I go, and then eventually it hit me. I go, oh, I know what it was. I go, I had that camera on a wide angle. Okay, so on an iPhone, I can go up to 3 times on my Pro. Okay, I can go 3 times zoom, 1 times, and I can go back out and they have a wide angle camera. So it captures more of a wide angle like HD from, you know, and gets more of the picture than the body worn camera, because what the body worn camera does, folks, is it has a fisheye. It has a fisheye lens on it. So it kind of, it distorts the camera angle a little bit, and they don't really take that into account. So, you know, I go, okay, then his lawyer kind of caught up with us and go, okay, yeah, how many pillars are there with the glass? You know, where was he standing? Because they were accusing me of padding it. It's like, no, I got all that information from Walt. It's in there in the video. I'm asking him, is this where you were? Yes. Okay, so it's kind of like him giving testimony, you know, but not actually having to plead the fifth, you know. So, you know, I was a witness because I helped him recreate the scene, and we measured it out with the distance tape measure. I brought the tape measure up to the camera. We can show all that. So they tried to get me disbarred as a witness because I didn't actually witness it.
You're talking about Schumann again, right?
Yeah, Schumann again. Yeah, Schumann.
But how would you know? You weren't there. You weren't on the scene. You weren't there. You weren't there. You weren't there.
Yeah, I said, I watched the body worn camera. And she goes, we all watched the body worn camera. Well, guess what? Everybody's going to get to watch the body-worn camera. And you know what? We encourage you to redress your grievances with your government folks.
Right.
But we encourage you to do so correctly.
Respectfully and correctly.
Respectfully and correctly. Because the First Amendment is a double-edged sword, folks. You got to know how to use it. And if you don't know how to use it, it can come back and bite you in the butt. It can. And it has. So, like, just like you can't yell fire in a crowded theater, you know, you shouldn't be making threats of force and violence.
Or bomb at the
anything of that nature,
airport.
or anybody like that. Or, you know, there's certain things you don't do, folks. And we ask that if you do redress your grievances with your government, please do so respectfully. After that, I was allowed to sit back down in the audience and find out what was going on with the rest of the case. They brought Tyrant Sotelo back in. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I forgot about that. The whole Tyrant bit. So, Schumann asked me, do you like Officer Sotelo? And it's like, I have no animosity towards him, you know.
Well, you call him Tyrant.
And he's like, she goes, it's like, did you call him bald, rude, and disgusting? I was like, no, I didn't call him that. It's like, Walt called him that. Or I'm sorry, Sacramento called him that. I go, if I did call him that, and I didn't say this in court, if I did call him that after the thought, it was because I was quoting Sacramento Community Watch in a previous video. And that's the only time that I can think of in my ADHD head playing things back that, okay, I might have, but it was a quote, again, of a constitutionally protected activity.
I mean, he has a nasty, disgusting ass attitude. So what else does he want us to call him? The cool guy?
We have to circle back about that as well on his testimony. But she goes, well, did you call him a tyrant? I go, yes. Well, isn't that a dislike or something to that effect? And it's like, I go, no, it's a professional opinion. I mean,
Human, stay in your lane.
You know,
stay in your lane.
I go, it's a First Amendment protected activity. I am calling him a tyrant because he displayed tyrannical behavior from a public, you know, I'm a member of the public,
right?
You know, but like, you know, again, I couldn't object. I wanted to, and I wanted to say, it was like, what in the heck does feelings have to do with this? Really, folks, is this feelings enforcement or is this law enforcement?
It's feelings enforcement.
It's feelings enforcement. So what wound up happening is after I sat down, but I wanted to circle back. Didn't Tyrant Sotelo also made mention of his family viewing our videos?
Right.
Can you give a little statement about what was said? Because I wasn't in there. I want to know about that a little bit more.
He said something about, to the extent, I mean, I really don't know. Really, I didn't want to remember anything that happened in court yesterday, but he said something to the extent of his family had even messaged him or something about seeing the videos and what I said about him in the videos and stuff like that. Well, guess what, Sotelo? I would have never, ever, ever said anything like that, especially negative towards you, had you not been a tyrant, had you not been tyrannical. You know, These are things that you do to make us react the way that we do. It's not like we started saying this out of nowhere. Fix your attitude.
Yep. And just so you guys know what we're talking about here, let me see if I can get that video file queued up here. This is the first encounter, you know, where he got in touch with.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Sacramento PD Watch. Looks like we have Reno Police
Tyrant
here.
Sotelo. We'll go ahead and court of public opinion this one. We'll kick this off in our court of public opinion.
Yeah, look how he's looking at me.
What's going on, man?
Nice shirt, man.
See,
nice shirt.
Again, nice shirt. And mind you, look at this. You're about the same distance away, camera-wise, as you were the last time. Mm-hmm. Now, and the judge... Excuse me. I'm gonna put it to you this way. I'm gonna tell you what the judge set up that. But, you know... granted, the first time he was alone. This time he wasn't, but you know, we're gonna keep going here.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, brother.
No problem.
I was just looking for my kid. Awesome. I spent 45
You see, he said, "Thank you, brother," to me, and you'll see
We
why.
got one detained here with Reno PD.
Yeah, the person in the torture cuffs.
Got a vehicle crossing.
Yeah, sorry, my fingers in the way, guys.
North.
I'm just gonna fast forward a little bit.
Yeah, we're still new auditors. We're still learning the trade. We want to teach other auditors as well, and we're going to be trying to do that as well and bring you that kind of information on how to do this properly. Our goal is not to cause interference.
Never. So he just called for backup because I was standing there recording.
Well, but technically you're interfering. You should have been, you weren't any further away than you were now. Hey, Casey Battles, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
I don't know what your deal is. I get it.
Let me tell you what my deal is, okay?
I get it.
I told them.
It's like, the one detained looks like he might be under the influence of some type of narcotic or some type of liquor. The officer right now is talking to him.
Sacramento like that, exactly.
With a fucking 3-year-old and a fucking less than a year-old. There's so many fucking trafficking cases lately. How am I supposed to feel?
So figure that out with them.
He can
Hey,
record
why are
all
you
he wants,
recording?
He's fine.
He's fine.
Protecting my rights.
Thank
Yeah.
you. So mind your business. Thank you.
He's with me. Thank you.
That's his wife.
Thank you. But look at him, still giving backlash.
Sorry.
But that's his wife. What does that have to do with anything?
Hanging out. Things are fine. And then they
You
decide.
got nosy people that just, you know what I mean?
Nosy people,
Nosy
see?
people?
Nosy people.
No, actually, I'm with Sacramento Community Watching, and my job here is to watch you.
See,
In
look
the course
how
of your
rude
duty,
and
sir.
disgusting he is. Look
Thank
at
you,
that.
though.
Like, who the hell do you think that you are?
This is how you treat a member of the public? Just because he has a camera and making sure you do your job right, making sure you don't violate this guy's rights? I mean, the video from yesterday, I interjected. I'm going to get that queued up. I'm going to download that. We're going to play that tonight. And you 7 people who are with us, thank you for sticking with us. I know we have a low counts in the live stream, but hey, we're doing our thing. We're trying to build our numbers. Please
Right.
like, share, and subscribe.
Thank you guys so much for watching. Share, like, and subscribe, please.
Thank you for sticking with
Guys
us.
know I'm here for his benefit here. Telling me I'm here for his rights. So,
Yep.
ooh, we got another one on scene. Reno PD here. We got he's going to be vehicle 180. How you doing, Officer Knox? Doing all right.
That's Officer Daniel Knox
So we have Officer Knox on the scene here.
on scene.
Officer Knox is one of the good ones, folks.
Yeah, he's actually a great officer, guys. I really don't have any complaints about this guy. He's
Right.
laid back. He's been on the job for a while. He's awesome.
He actually stood up for Sacramento here in this video. He educated him, the tyrant, that he was allowed to film there.
And Sotelo still gave backlash. He still gave lip service. He still just
Treated a
negative
member
about the
of the
situation.
public with disrespect.
Alpha 1028 Radio. Guys out with Reno PD.
Why it serves your uncle? That's what you claim, right?
Yes, sir.
See, here. Okay, so Sacramento, I'm gonna come back to us here for just a second here. You know how they always say, "Take it up with the judge. Take it up with the judge." And
Sotelo
stuff like
said the
that.
same. I mean, Hoyt said the same thing.
Hoyt said the same thing. Yeah, mating call of a tyrant. Take it up with the judge. Can I see some ID? Okay, mating calls of a tyrant.
You're recording. I'm recording too.
Yeah. So the thing
Good.
is,
You should be recording. What you guys should not do is redact your damn body cameras and mute your body cameras. That's what you shouldn't do.
Yeah, I just like that. I forgot what I was gonna try going off on, but you know, it's just the way that they treat people with disdain. You know, we're members of the public, and this is what we're paying them for. They're public servants first, and
Police officer secondary.
law enforcement officer secondary, and that's what they tend to forget. And they don't seem to realize that they are paid by us, folks. They don't seem to appreciate that.
From the officer knocks vehicle 180.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. Yeah, they tried to. Officer Sotelo tries to conduct roadside court. He's doing it here. He's trying to conduct roadside court with the person in torture cuffs, and he played roadside court using the stolen car victims as your jury.
Right.
Officer Sotelo or Tyrant Sotelo plays roadside court, folks.
That's his family drama. I get it, but I'm just putting it out.
And he shouldn't be overseeing a damn thing.
I'm not using it as a plus card. I'm just saying I know my rights. Okay.
See, I know my rights.
You're being detained, so you are. What are your rights?
Okay, you hear him? You're being detained, so what are your rights? No, that's not the question, Officer Sotelo. The question is, he's being detained. What is his rights? You should be answering that question. What is his rights? He has the right to remain silent. Anything he says can and will be used against him in the court of law. He has a right to an attorney. If he cannot afford one will be provided to him by the courts. You do not have to talk to the police. As a matter of fact, NRS 171.123 is detainment. It is not an stop an ID law. It is detainment, meaning they have to legally detain you in order to get the ID crack that they always want, the ID cookie. And if they don't have a lawful reason to detain you, like what is a lawful order, they don't get the cookie.
Right.
They do not get the cookie, folks.
Thankfully, I'm working with you because you might get me off the hook. That's just the way it works. Either I can stay silent.
No, pup, you can't be on live. The puppy wants to be on live stream.
He let me off the hook. That's how it goes.
Ruby.
This is Ruby, one of my Jack Russell Terriers, folks.
Welcome Ruby in the room.
A year and a half. She's still just a puppy, folks.
Okay, you're out of here, Ruby.
Sacramento Lynette, yes, judges are ex-attorneys. And guess what happens after they're ex-judges? They become attorneys again. Hi, Ruby. in Sacramento Lynette, to be quite honest, in my opinion, at some point, a police officer should be the equivalent of a paralegal by the time they get to a sergeant, at least, in my opinion.
Absolutely. In my opinion, too. I'm sure it's everybody else's opinion that's watching.
Make sure this man is good. You know, the police kill people.
They should have enough knowledge of law and case law by the time they make sergeant to be a paralegal, by the time that they retire out of the police force.
Oh, I think it was that girl over there.
And I don't want to see career police officers unless there's a path for them to stay off the street. The young guys need to be out there on the streets, and they need to be taught right.
I have a beautiful dog too. He's at home though. I can't.
Talking about Recon. Shout out to Recon.
Yeah, he's outside right now. So.
Why what? Who, the police? Are you serious?
They're out there trying to keep the streets safe. Oh, the mating call of a bootlicker.
Yeah, Daisy Dukes here. I told her I was the chief, she was like, "You're not the chief." I was like, "Britney Spears, back up." Oops, you did it again. Bye.
Little does she realize the police have no obligation, thanks to the Supreme Court, to protect your safety. It's officer safety first, community safety second.
She got the dun-dun-duns on.
Yes, shout out to Alex as well. Alex is better looking than Recon.
All right, well, I'm with Sacramento Community Watch. I'm Chief England. How you doing?
You're not a chief. You're drunk. Back up.
Oh, okay. Well,
You had a little too much to drink and a little bit too many spins on
Right.
the roulette
it's not
wheel.
fair.
With your little cheap clutch.
It's my right.
People out here, like, they're not doing
Okay.
the right thing, right?
Right.
They're not doing
And
the
law
right
enforcement
thing.
is also always not doing the right thing.
Thank you.
But law enforcement is just people, okay?
Ma'am, I work.
We're all people.
Oh yeah,
Back up.
there are people that have no accountability thanks to qualified immunity.
Yeah, Lindsay Lohan, back up, man. Move.
I know exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Thank you, though.
There is no excuse in
You
the
just
law
obstructed what
unless
I'm
it's
doing,
qualified immunity. Or
I feel bad for dude in the handcuffs.
Ma'am,
Of course.
just back up for me.
Look
please,
who's
okay?
the one who handcuffed him. I mean, he's just there just to always do people wrong.
Back up for me, please. Thank you.
see, and in my
See,
opinion,
being
I am
nosy.
being nosy. Thank you.
this is the one of the few points that I agree with Chili DeCastro.
Horrible.
I mean, I support Chili DeCastro as a First Amendment auditor and as a constitutionalist as well. But some of his tactics, like calling police officers jackboot thug pigs, right out of the bat, I don't agree with. And that's one thing that Sacramento and I had a lot of talk after the court, which we're going to get to after this video, what the sentence was. And we're changing some of our policies and training, and we're moving forward. And unfortunately, folks,
And you guys are going to love it.
Unfortunately, folks in the auditing world, the 10-foot golden rule does not work in Nevada. Not yet, at least. The 10-foot golden rule in the auditing community should not use it. We're going to agree with that for now until there is clearly established law. So the 10-foot rule is more of a bronze rule at this point. It's not a golden rule. It's a little bit tarnished. So yeah, we'll get to that later.
Yeah, we're supposed to be following and watching you, right? You know how many people are watching you right now, dude.
You're not detained.
You got to be careful with that.
You're not detained. I just
Nobody knows you, man.
Thank you. This is so much better than last time.
Oh, yeah.
You stood your ground, didn't interject. It worked out well. So
Oh
thank
yeah,
you for that.
always.
And that's how it should work because I'm fully on board with you video. I have no problems with that.
Right.
Gotcha.
You
Shout
probably
out
should
to
get him on
Officer
board with that
Knox.
too. Then.
Or his other habit is telling you to stop recording and you
He got the proper
Dude, it's
training.
my right. I'm supposed to record.
He didn't get it.
during
Still,
the course
look.
of your duties. You don't know that?
That's his attitude.
educated.
Nasty.
No, you get educated, or find you. No problem, sir. Have a good one. Find you another job. Yeah, go to Target. Apply for loss prevention. Get your car out of the street. Why are you parked like this?
Just look.
He's a future gypsy cop.
Yeah, look, his attitude is just gross. I cannot explain it enough. His attitude is gross.
Unfortunately, he's going to wind up being a gypsy cop. We're going to put a link in the description, folks, for the Reno Gazette. There's another video out there. Unfortunately, we can't show it due to the Reno Gazette copyright. They don't like it when people when other people take their user content, even for journalistic purposes. So after the show, we'll put that link out there. But folks, you need to read it. Sotelo was involved in a massive lawsuit of one of 4 officers who violated a woman's rights, and the city settled. So. But yeah, we're gonna finish up here.
Yeah, he's
Where
a
was
dangerous
Mitch
cop.
for that?
He needs to be off the street.
And this further proves it. Yes.
You need to get up. You're a dangerous cop, man. You're dangerous. I'll pull your jacket. I'll pull everything, dude. You don't know what we do?
We did. We pulled as much as we could.
Obviously. Ask Knox.
Get out
Get
of
out
the
of
street.
the. You're blocking the crosswalk.
Oh, but he has his
See,
flashes
the
on,
laws
folks.
don't apply to you, huh?
Yeah, because he's
Wow.
got his flashes on.
I can't wait to contact you. Look at the disdain.
Even if
This
you were to
officer
file a
right here.
complaint,
Hey,
we
can you
investigated
identify for me,
ourselves and
please?
found no
What's your
wrongdoing.
badge number and your last name? You don't have to tell me anything?
I don't have to tell
That's
you
because
anything.
you're a punk ass officer. That's why. You don't need to be a police officer anymore. You don't need to be a bye. Get up out of here. Bye.
Bye.
Right.
And this is the
Dismissed.
video that
Goodbye.
his family got all
Okay.
butthurt about.
That's vehicle 192. Hey.
Mind you, when his when they mentioned this in court, they were like, "You told Officer Sotelo that he was a punk ass police officer, but never mentioned what he did to make me say that." They just said that first, as if that was supposed to be like the punchline.
Okay,
Disgusting.
did Sotelo want to have a conversation about why you thought that? No. He
Exactly.
wanted to buckle and bounce. And
Yep.
I bet you he didn't buckle his safety belt either.
No, of course not.
You know, again, and this is kind of tweaking how we're going to be doing things in the future, but everything that he said, he would have been told anyways under our new protocols.
Right.
Hey. He's dangerous. Don't talk to him. He might take you in the vehicle. You don't want to talk to him. Yeah.
Thank you for sticking with the Sacramento lane.
Not?
I'm sorry.
Nah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see, I knew him by his name,
That's why
his
I
last
walked
name.
up to him. I was like, "So you don't recognize me quite, do you?" He's like, "Sit on."
So yeah, that's the end of that. So, so after court, or not after court. So yeah, they brought Sotelo back in, asked him a few other questions, and they asked him to judge how far 5 feet was, and then had him walk it. And he took 3 steps. And from the police body cam footage that we received, he took 4 steps. I believe that's correct. So afterwards, we were all sitting there. You know, everybody was in the courtroom sitting there, and this is what I was able to see. They basically gave their closing arguments. How he approached aggressively. He didn't listen to officers' command to get out of the street. It's like, yes, he did. He got out of the street within 30 seconds.
Yep. And I walked up the street to the crosswalk, crossed over, came back up to him, still got arrested.
So,
For resisting the public officer.
we've covered some of the lies in his police report over on Reno News Now. Go check it out over there, folks. We'll be bringing that up in the next couple of videos here as we walk through. We're going to analyze things for you. We're going to play it out in the court of public opinion where all evidence is good. And that's what we're starting with today, folks. So what wound up happening is Shoemaker gave her defense, closing arguments that, that he obstructed by distracting the officer because he was on the opposite side of the street, wouldn't get out of the street. And then he had to wait for them to come all the way around and wouldn't listen to officers' lawful commands, which, and it all boiled down to officer safety. And we'll point that out in another video, but there's other things he could have done, and Sacramento Community Watch would have complied if he would have brought up officer safety properly. And
why was he so scared to do his job?
So, and again, we got time frames of and receipts of things he could have done while waiting for other officers. So at this point, the whole defense the whole prosecution rests around Officer Sotelo was alone. He was with a stolen car victim, and Mr. England was recording across the street and basically caused Tyrant Sotelo to lose his concentration and give lawful commands for him to get out of the middle of the street.
Lied about the report multiple times.
Lied about a whole bunch of stuff on the report, but some of it was, kind of did fall into line eventually after we looked at both sides. But a lot of it was just a lot of fictitious and again, pointing out the fact that he was operating under NRS 171.1233. And then she kind of laid out her whole case again. And Mr. Edgerton laid out his case. Our case is basically, it wasn't a lawful order. It's a distance of, it's a question of how close is too close. Officer safety is not a law. And officer safety distances have not been communicated by law either. So their training, for the officer safety or officer cowardness is about 21 feet. So, again, it's just one of those things, we were saying it wasn't a lawful order. We were doing, this is the reason why we were correct. It was constitutionally protected activity. It was a lawful activity. And just because he, came around the corner, around the street to record him, doesn't mean that, he had any ill will or misintent. So he was doing his constitutionally protected activity. So I think
that's what the judge was trying to argue.
Who was trying to argue that?
The judge. He was saying, I don't understand why you came up the street, across the crosswalk,
I'm gonna get to that.
Back up.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna get to that too. So, because when I was on the stand, he mentions I really wish you would have got the distance it would have took for him to come all the way across the street. It's what's the point of that? What is the distance from where he was standing across the street to walk all the way across? What does that have to do with anything?
Anything.
So
nothing.
So Schumann had a quick rebuttal to what Walter was saying, and one of the other defenses that we had was that the NRS for resisting an officer should also fall under, the whole, the threats, force, and violence of interference.
Right.
It's that's one of our things, is that there should be that threats, force, or violence, because at this point, it's the law, the way it's written, is contempt of cop. Nobody has gotten it to the level to where they say, yes, this is an unconstitutional law, because it's clearly contempt of cop.
Right.
And this is a case that could be one of those cases. So what wound up happening is the judge basically goes, I just don't get it. You came all the way across the street. You kind of came up in in a hot-headed manner, so to speak, and just 1.26 seconds for a gun. And it's I'm sitting here going, what does a gun have to do with it? I go, okay, right. You got him detained. There was no gun. That
was the excuse. He had asked Sotelo that. How quick can a person pull a gun or something like that, and how long does it take for a person to get to you?
So yeah, it's the whole reaction time for the whole officer safety argument that has no basis in law other than case law to help the officer get some sort of qualified immunity.
Right.
In the case that this happens. So it's kind of qualified immunity is not really a law. It's more of a case law. The state of Nevada does not have a qualified immunity section anymore. And with the Hoyt case, for instance, Sacramento Community Watch can sue him in federal and state. And what wound up happening here is the judge wound up defaulting over to officer safety, and basically, Constitution be damned, in my opinion, but he did give Mr. Edgerton some very high praise for putting up a very good defense.
But just wasn't good enough, I guess.
I guess it just wasn't good enough to get over the fact that he could have had a gun. And he could have just done a Terry stop and patted him down real quick.
What did the judge say? Your hand was down on your side?
Yeah, his hand was down on his side. So,
where was my hand supposed to be? On top of my head?
So when you're auditing folks, you have a camera in one hand, and usually you have your hand down by your side. A lot of auditors keep their hand in their pocket.
Right.
because, hey, get your hand out of your pocket for
Don't they
officer
always say
safety.
that?
What?
Don't they always say that? Can you get your hands out of your pocket, please? My hands was out of my pocket on the side.
Yeah, his
What
hand
else
was out of
could
his
you ask
pocket
me?
on his side. When we audit, we try to keep our hands visible. So at this point, we're having to change up some of our tactics here, folks, in Northern Nevada. Like I said, the 10-foot golden rule of auditing is basically now tarnished in bronze. You have to play more rules. You have to put more rules in place for yourself and for others, because Mr. England was unfortunately found guilty of contempt of cop, or also known as resisting a public officer. So what happened was, after the judge found him guilty, the next was sentencing. So the prosecution, her name keeps escaping me.
Schumann.
Yeah, Miss Schumann, who, mind you, was a family rights attorney before she got this cushy job with the city. Yeah. She argued for him to have a deferred sentence. Basically, what that means is a deferred sentence is you get so many days hanging over your head of jail time if you get into any sort of altercation with law enforcement. So basically, you have to keep your nose clean, folks. So she wanted 120, was it? 120 over 2 years.
120.
He would have had to serve 120 days over 2 years. He would have had to keep his nose clean. And if he would have got pinched by a law enforcement, let's say detained for trespassing on public property, for instance, you know how all that goes, folks. Yeah,
120 days.
120 days. That's what she wanted. And then Mr. Edgerton got a turn. He's like, yeah, Your Honor, that is totally unfair.
Way too much.
Way too much. There was,
all of it's too much.
All of it's too much, in my opinion. So, basically, the judge argued, it's like, look, this is what these folks do. It's a First Amendment protected activity. George Floyd, he brought up.
He referenced George Floyd and the reason behind us recording law enforcement.
And he goes, it's like, let's not kid the court here. Sacramento Community Watch is black. That sort of thing. It's just, But the judge took that into account, and he actually gave him 30 over a year. And so basically that means Sacramento Community Watch has to keep his nose clean.
Probation.
Basically act like rules of probation for an entire year, and not get in trouble with law enforcement, and not do anything. So he doesn't have to check in or anything of that nature. We're
still going to be out auditing. We're still going to be out cop watching. He
can't just show up on a police report anytime soon.
Yeah, I just won't record so closely. I'll be 21 feet away. How about that?
Yeah.
We got some other stuff implemented and in place now.
So we're working on that. So we'll get to that here in just a second. So the judge ordered him to also pay, what was it, $300 or $600? I forget.
$320.
$320.
$330.
$330 with all the fees and everything. $330 for the public defender's fee, because Sacramento Community Watch is gainfully employed now. And
always.
Yeah, we got to keep the money rolling in somehow. We like, share, and subscribe so we can start getting the money in from this place through YouTube and such. And then he basically set his appeal bond for $1,000. So here's what we need, folks. We need you to please donate on Cash App. Again, it's $SACCW, I believe, on Cash App. We want to get together at least $1,000 for him. It would be nice if we can get at least $1,500 for him to cover that $300 public defender fee, so that doesn't have to come out of his pocket, folks. So please, again, donate to Sacramento Community Watch first before donating to any of our other channels here in the Northern Nevada area. Yeah. So the other thing is he's got 10 days in order to appeal. So he has to come up with, from what we were told, like a bond with the bond. So it's like $150.
Yeah, bond going to bond.
But we would love it if you folks could try to donate to his fund. We're also going to try to set up a GoFundMe here, probably tomorrow. We'll put links in the descriptions afterwards. So keep an eye out for that if you're rewatching us. So yeah, that's what that was. And then we were kind of stuck there waiting for Schumann wanted to get him booked and released because he should have been taken to the Washoe County Sheriff's Office. Because Tyrant Hoyt wanted to take him to the Washoe County Sheriff's Office. He wanted to book and print him. You know how they like to play those games. So, but they let him go. So they go, oh, well, you can just do that here at the clerk of courts. You don't have to, you should be able to just do it here. You know, you're not going to go, behind the scenes and get detained or anything. You just got to go downstairs and clear it with the clerk. So we go downstairs and we spent almost the rest of the day. We were there till 5 o'clock at that point because we started around noon. We were there till 5 o'clock waiting on the clerk of courts, and then come to find out they didn't have a fingerprint machine. Or they did, but it was broken. And then we were also trying to find out about the bond, but we had to get out of there. We had things to do. We were trying to get on here last night. We couldn't be able to do that. Yeah, talk to Accountability for All. Yeah, please, share us with him as well. Please let him know. We're gonna try contacting him too. We're gonna bombard him. Let your favorite auditors know about them and have them take a look at our channel, please. The more eyes that we can get on this, the better. We want to appeal this. The next step is actually the appellate court. We're kind of following the path of Chile at this point. So we're watching the Chile DeCastro case really closely. The big difference here, folks, and I want you to remember this, the difference between the Chile DeCastro case and Sacramento Community Watch's case was one, Chile had a suspect that his Tyrant Piggy was following. Sacramento Community Watch only had a stolen car victim. Again, two totally separate, different things here. Chile DeCastro started off full throttle as he always does. Sacramento Community Watch always starts off very chill, very low vibe, and only starts escalating. And again, if you fellow police officers are out there watching from the Reno PD, thanks for joining us. We like, share, and subscribe. Let your fellow officers know about this guy over here. Come on, folks.
What I heard today is that there's Washoe County sheriffs who actually love watching the Sacramento Community Watch.
Shout out to those guys.
Yeah.
If a law enforcement officer is watching First Amendment auditing videos, watching how the tyrants do it wrong and corrects their attitude and are getting an education, those are the stars. We want police officers to continue their education inside and outside. Don't just sit there and watch cops. Don't just sit there and watch live PD. Get in there and watch the raw tyrants that are out there and violating people's rights. So,
do we have any more videos to show?
Let me see what I got on my end here. Oh yeah, okay, we got that one from the court. Going to the court. We can show that one real quick here. Oops.
Oh yeah, the cop watch.
Yeah, let me. Sorry, folks. I just want to get I hit the wrong buttons. I'm moving too fast for my own good, folks. Let's see.
Yeah, with the exception of not having about 2 or 3 of our watchmen out with us, we had a team of us out there. Guys, take a look at this video.
Yeah, so take a look at this video. This was on the way to court. And again, this just goes to prove that when Sacramento Community Watch is out there, we keep quiet. We don't want to startle the officers. We just want to observe and report. And at this point, until they say something to us, we don't say anything to them, and we keep back and we keep quiet, and and this is what happened before court. Reno News Now here, also known as the ADHD Auditor, out here with Sacramento Community Watch and Xander the Educator. We're heading to court. Ran into some cherries and berries, and we came across a scene here where we got somebody in torture cuffs. So we're doing our First Amendment duty, and we're shout out to Mama Watch here. Watching and observing police interactions. It looks like Rems is on the scene here, and they wound up taking some vitals from him. But again, he is.
Is he working at all?
You don't have to answer questions. You have a Fifth Amendment right. And see, folks, that's the only time that I tend to interject. It is just to make sure that he knows that he has the right to remain silent. If he hasn't been told that, he needs to be told that.
Right.
He don't have to answer those questions. When you're detained, the only thing you need to give them is your name and date of birth, folks.
Yep.
You don't need your social. You don't need, and in Nevada, because it's, again, it's detainment by the law to get ID, to get the government cookie of the ID in Nevada. Nevada's really not a stop and ID state. It's under the detainment law. And the way the detainment law works is the police officer has to meet one of two things in order to get the third thing, which is the cookie. And the first thing is he has to have reasonable articulable suspicion of a crime in order for him to get that cookie. Or he has to know that you're in violation of probation or parole. So he can't use, I want to use your ID to see if you're in violation of probation or parole. He has to know that beforehand. So therefore, he can't get that cookie. And even if you were detained, I would challenge it. Why are you detaining me? You have the right to, if they're detaining you, you have a right to ask them, I wish to challenge your detainment. Whether or not they're going to comply with the challenge or not is a different story. I want to speak to your supervisor. Again, whether or not they want to, in the case of Officer White or Tyrant White, he chose not to. So again, everybody makes decisions in life, even the tyrant police officers, and the good ones keep going.
Who is this guy in the tan pants?
I'm not sure who he is, but he did wind up getting into a police car, folks, in the passenger seat.
Right along?
He could have been typical Reno behavior. Let's buckle and bounce. Let's get him all out of here. Get away from the cameras.
Yep.
No, want accountability.
Shout out to Xander, the educator.
Yes, thank you. You're doing a good job of keeping the channel comments going. Thank you so much for doing that for us.
That's our brother, man.
Take a moment to smash that like button for us, folks. Hit the subscribe button if you are as well, and hit that bell button and set it to always, please.
So let me pause this real quick.
Go ahead.
So that tall officer there, guys, right in the doorway with his back turned towards me, standing right next to the tree. He said, "Oh, hey, that's." He said, "What's up, Walter England?" I'm like, "Do I know you?" I said, what's your first and last name? He said, "My last name is File or something like that." I said, "You can't give me your first name? You call me my first and last name. Why does RPD do that?" intimidation tactics. You guys are trying to intimidate me, calling me by my first and last name.
Again, yeah.
Disgusting.
What they're trying to do, folks, is when they give out the first and last name, even though some people call it doxing, unfortunately, there's no legal basis behind them doing it. What they're trying to do is to get you to edit your own video at that point. So that way, whenever you take out your personal name on our channel, because we like to go by our channel names when we do these things and not our personal names, that way they can come back and claim, oh, well, he edited the video. It doesn't show the whole picture. You know, well, of course not. I mean, you guys do it all the time too with your body-worn cameras.
Right. And using this video, I'm going to FOIA request and I'm going to get his first and last name. Every time I see that officer, I'm going to address him by his first and last name. Thank you.
And the intimidation tactics don't work. And as we move forward, officers, we're going to prove Officer Sotelo, even after he was arrested and we were going through this whole court thing, kept bothering Sacramento Community Watch. He kept
on the loudspeaker, driving past us in a vehicle. Walter England.
Yeah. And then, you know, what was the other one that he did recently? I think there was one after that too. Oh, you were on that watch with Xander. And you ran.
When he was shining the flashlight in his vehicle spotlight in our face.
Committing prior restraint. So, you know, he's tyrant behavior.
Just look how he acts.
So
would you guys want him to be a police officer in your city?
So
on your streets? No.
We want the stars to shine here, folks. Remember that. We want the is like if they had an ounce of professional courtesy and they knew about our channels and they knew about how we do things, they would dress us by our channel names. Oh, hey, Sacramento Community Watch, how are you?
Hey, Chief.
Hey,
I'm the chief.
Or even Chief. Hey, Chief, you know.
No respect, disrespect most of the time. Why couldn't they be more like Officer Knox?
Yeah, Officer Knox, and Officer Knox comes up to you and go, hey guys, how you doing? The my buddy thing. Hey, if Knox were to do the my buddy thing to you, you'd be much more receptive to him because he has been much more receptive to you. Sotelo doing the my buddy thing is just like, hey, I'm here. I'm the badass that I think I am. And I got a Napoleon complex because I'm a little. But
it's horrible.
Again, court of public opinion, folks. All First Amendment protected activity. It's not defamation. Ain't slant or I forget what Pink Camera Magic says. Truth ain't defamation.
But he ignored me when I asked for his first name.
Oh, and that was the other thing I was going to say is Reno PD does not have a policy of identifying themselves. If they really want to build a better community relations, they would start by implementing that policy immediately.
Typical Reno.
You guys want to record? Go right ahead. I don't mind.
Yeah, because you're buckling and bouncing with the suspect.
Right, and that's NRS 171.1233.
First and last name. I hope you know that. File.
Yeah, we'll also get your pay history too. Not a big deal.
Pay and everything.
Did you get a badge number?
It's a joke out here. I'm fucking playing.
He didn't want to give it. I'll get it.
You need to learn how to respect the public. Douchebag.
Even if we have your last name, we can still get your badge number, pay history. It's all open records, folks.
Right, I said douchebag again because the officer was disrespectful. He addressed me by my first and last name. I asked him for his first and last name. What are you so scared about? What are you so scared about? Stop addressing people by their first and last name if you don't want people to address you by yours. It's so stupid. And you're a police officer, a public official, and you're acting in this manner. Disgusting. Period.
I forget the name of the auditor right off the top of my head. I think it's I forget which one who it is, but one of the things he says is like, there's only two reasons. Oh, I think it's accountability for all. He goes, there's only two reasons why people don't want to give their name. Either they have something to hide or are ashamed of their name or they're ashamed of their name. Those are the two reasons. You either have something to hide,
brother,
or you're ashamed of your name.
Thank you. Thank you.
And your behavior. So which one is it? And if you have, you live the life of a public official. Your information is public. If you don't want it out there, you need to quit. You need to go back into the public sector.
Like even at the Reno Police Department, the people who work at the front desk, they have weird names like I'm gonna just say Reyes, and then they have 4378, and it's like, how do you identify somebody like that? They want to hide. You call them. If you call for a supervisor at Reno PD, they say, "Oh, we'll have them call you back," because they don't have numbers for you to call them directly. They have to call you back with a block number. I mean, it's just, oh God, I wish they would do better. Seriously. It's just horrible.
Yeah, I guess we're gonna have to go down over that way and take a look.
Bye. Huh. Of course, I'm down there reprimanding him.
And see, now they all buckle and bounce.
Yeah.
Don't forget to buckle up, officer.
Of course he didn't. He probably ran over a squirrel and a slug while he was driving too.
Rules for thee, not for me.
Yep. Laws for me. Laws for thee, not for me.
It's typical tactic. Let's get him into the back of the paddy wagon and let's get the frick out of here. So we're heading to the court now. And thanks you guys for watching.
It's horrible.
Yep.
I just wish they did better. That's all I'm saying. We go out, we record the police. It's just not for their safety or for the public safety. It's also for their safety.
Yeah, Miss Schumann, let me go ahead and I'm going to make a public statement here. We want you to do better. We want you to do better. We want the police to do better. We want the Andy Griffiths of the world.
Right.
The ones who know the law, who tell Barney, we can't do that. We can't go in there guns blazing. There's the law. We can't arrest him. There's the law. And it's not going to get better until one of your law enforcement officers starts arresting another law enforcement officer for breaking the law.
Right.
George Floyd, for example. The officer who put his knee on his neck and unalived George Floyd, all those officers should have been arrested on the scene by other officers. Prove a point that, unaliving somebody in the middle of public with somebody recording is not acceptable.
And not to mention Stephon Clark, who was shot in his grandmother's backyard in Sacramento, holding a cell phone. Oh, it's a phone. Bam, bang, bang. Dead.
And the newest thing in the first,
and they wonder why we record.
And the newest thing in the First Amendment auditing community is we're trying to keep cops safe from acorns. I mean, you probably heard about that, folks, where an officer unloaded a clip. The supervisor unloaded a clip into the back of a patrol vehicle because an acorn fell on the patrol vehicle, and the officer mistaken it for a gunshot. He could.
And then he screamed, "I'm hit! I'm hit! I'm hit!" What the hell are you talking about?
They
wonder why we record.
We understand the risks of being where we are and what we're doing, and what Sacramento Community Watch has gone through is going through is one of those risks. And unfortunately,
it's egregious. That's what it is.
It has to go to a low point before it can go to a high point. A municipal court judge ain't going to take a look at the law and go, yeah, this seems a little unconstitutional, and then go, oh, I'm not going to allow any of the police to enforce this law anymore in the city of Reno. It's just not going to happen because the judge works for the city, the prosecutor works for the city,
all in cahoots.
The cops work for the city. They all talk to each other, and they can do that. Oh, that was the other thing. Oh, I don't know if I mentioned that with the media access letter. He said he wasn't going to allow me to defame the Reno PD. The judge said that to me.
Yeah.
The judge said he was not going to allow me to defame the Reno PD. That's why he denied me media access. I'm sorry, folks. That's not why he denied me media access, because I didn't go above his court after they denied it, which I understand. I fully agree with. that particular thing. But the fact that he told me he would not allow me to defame the Reno Police Department is not a good thing for him, and there will be a complaint filed. And I will be working on that to show you folks that I've sent that off in the next live stream.
Right. And like I said, the last live stream, nobody needs to help RPD look bad. They do that all on their own. All on their own. All we do is we show up when we record. We catch something bad. That is on you. Do your job better.
And we do, folks, show the good with the bad. Okay.
Right.
What happened?
We got a lot of good interactions with PD on.
Wasn't really bad, but it wasn't really good either. You know, it's just one of those things where they could do better. And that's all we ask, is you do better. You do better, you learn, and you adapt. And that's what we're doing. So go ahead, Sacramento. What are we doing? How are we changing things up in the Sacramento Community Watch News Network here?
Okay, so one of our new protocols is that we have an SNS protocol. SNS, meaning that all we do is stand and stare. We're not going to speak to you. If you're RPD, if you're any type of law enforcement, don't walk up to us. Don't say anything to us. We have nothing to say to you. We're going to be mute. We're going to be quiet and say nothing. There's not going to be anything, no type of conversation between the Sacramento Community Watch, any of our watchmen with any law enforcement from here on out. Done. And for now on, instead of it being 10 to 15 feet, we'll be 21 feet back. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to record from that angle. We have other things that we have implemented into the Sacramento Community Watch, as well as Reno News Now and stuff like that. But that stuff will be, all, it'll be all internal. So,
yeah. So one of the other things too is that we have a strict 21-foot rule at this point, as he said, especially when it's a single officer.
Right.
If anybody is alone, if the officer is alone, if the auditor is alone, strict 21-foot rule for us.
Let me go ahead and redact that comment. We do have a strict 21st foot rule. However, we will get closer if need be. Like if there's multiple officers, the scene is already, taken care of, or so on and so on.
So the first rule is if it's one-on-one, 21.
Right. One-on-one,
21. Okay, because we're going to follow their unwritten rules, unpublished, unlawful command rules of 21 feet. Because again, my position as an auditor is not to get arrested because of my bread and butter, the casino industry. I have licenses that I have to keep up, and they are, again, I keep stressing this, maintained by people who were in or are part of law enforcement. So I have to keep my nose clean in order to keep my job, and I don't want to jeopardize that. So I tend to play second string when we go out auditing, and you've probably seen from some of my videos, I keep behind Sacramento and Xander. They were more first string. So when there's more than one auditor and there's more than one officer,
everything works out better.
That's when the bronze 10-foot rule kind of kicks in. Again, we're not going to interfere at this point because of the way the Nevada law works. It's contempt of cop law.
And because of how Nevada or Reno police officers operate.
Yeah, so we're going to unfortunately obey any unlawful commands and then exercise our First Amendment rights to peaceful protest.
Right. We're basically using this opportunity to revise our policies and procedures when dealing with law enforcement, and it's all for the better. And you guys are going to love what we do. For example, we're going to be doing more field interviews. When we see law enforcement out and about, walking around casually, we're going to walk up, we're going to ask questions pertaining to their job. And depending on how they act, it's up to them. Right. But it will be put on a YouTube channel. So we'll bring you guys that content as well.
And again, most of these new rules are implemented when there's an active policing.
Right.
If there is no active policing, if it does not look like the officer is conducting a lawful duty, and they are at that point what we consider a government public servant. If they are in public servant mode, that's when we will definitely get closer, and we will definitely do those field interviews and ask them such question as, "Hey, officer, do you know what a lawful order is? What's your definition of a lawful order?
What's your definition of a lawful order? And what's the 5 elements, the 5 freedoms of the First Amendment?"
Right, and everybody knows the first and something of the first and something of the second, but what do you know of the third and the fourth, officer?
Right. Also, I forgot to tell you guys, we're going to be bringing on more UCOs, undercover watchmen out with us. Basically out there working with us in plain clothes, undercover type get up. So while we're out there, we have somebody recording from across the street, up the building, out of a tree if we have to cover ourselves lawfully in any type of way. We're going to be recording it all. We're also going to be implementing drones, remote control vehicles, remote control cars with cameras attached to them, rolling them in and getting closer without having a person get closer to the scene. So RPD, if you guys see a remote control out there, don't get scared. It's just a Sacramento Community Watch. We're going to be watching you regardless. So just prepare for that.
Camera. The other thing is we're always looking for people to join. We want to help out auditors. We want to make sure that we do things right. We want to make sure we do things legal. That was one of the questions, like Schumann was asking me is, do you have any knowledge of law? Where did you get that 10-foot rule from? It's like, I don't know where the 10-foot rule came from.
Where did she get anything that she learned? Because her services inside of that courtroom, I didn't think that she did anything right. I think that she lied in her what was that, a report that they gave us?
It was a statement to the court.
The statement to the court. There was a bunch of lies in there. Nobody can trust anybody like that. Nobody.
And the thing is, folks, is we're wanting to help promote auditors. So and if you don't feel comfortable doing what other auditors do, but you still want to help out, again, we're looking for plain clothes people to help out whenever it can. So if you're in the Northern Nevada area and would love to help us out, please reach out to us. My email is Reno News Now at Outlook.com. You can also use Reno News Now at Proton Mail, I think it is. I'll put it in the description below. For secure email, if you guys want to email me something securely, please use the Proton Mail. And then Sacramento Community Watch at gmail.com.
Correct.
You can get in touch with him there. Feel free to reach out to us, folks. If you have a story that you think that we need to pick up, we're looking for legal eagles too, to help us out. Make sure that we adapt these policies and procedures properly. We want eventually, I haven't ran this past Sacramento yet, but maybe once we get the monetization, those few thousand more watch hour or a few hundred more watch hours, we can create these training videos and put them behind a join community. So that way you guys can educate yourself. Because that was one of the things that Ms. Shoemaker was asking me was, how did I educate myself as a First Amendment auditor?
The First Amendment.
Yeah, in in doing this job of constitutional, activism and stuff like that. It's like I learned it off of YouTube.
Oh, and I forgot to mention, welcome on board for our new 4 UCOs that we put on board a couple of days ago. Thank you guys for joining.
Yes, thank you.
You guys probably never see them and never know who they are, but we did bring on 4 more people for our UCO position. So thank you. We're glad to have them on board. Thank you so much.
And we'll be working with them behind the scenes to make sure that they know exactly how to handle things. And folks, again, if anything that you're seeing today, you feel like you need to redress your grievances with your government, please do so respectfully and responsibly. Again, I cannot stress that enough. We do not condone acts or threats or force of violence of any nature
whatsoever.
We can't stress that enough, folks. Please do so intelligently and thoughtfully, and let them know your displeasure. So we're about 2 hours here, kind of what we thought. Is there anything else we need to cover before we wrap up here?
That's it. And I just want to thank everybody who showed up today, who watched us during this through the entirety of this live stream here. Of course, I want to thank Jacob and Xander and everybody else in the chat here. You guys are lovely. We love you all for that support. Anything from you, Jacob?
Yeah, again, folks, we got the Cash App information down at the bottom of the screen. Have we got any Cash Apps on your end? Has anybody Cash Apped us?
No, I haven't. I don't think
I
so.
haven't. I don't think anything came across my screen here. So, nothing to read on screen, folks. So, hopefully, this will kind of set us over the watch hours for Sacramento Community Watch, so we can get the super chats and the super stickers and start working on additional content that you guys can subscribe to. We're really looking forward to that.
And we're also going to be starting to work on merchandise too, as well, like sweaters and hats and stuff like that, with our logos on it to, support the team, support what we're doing out here, support our efforts.
So we're really hoping to grow not just the Northern Nevada First Amendment community here in Reno, but all over the state of Nevada, all over the West Coast. We kind of want this to expand. And you know how they say, if you see something, say something. Well, if you see a cop pick up a camera,
Right.
You never know. Oh, I got something I want to show you. Last ditch effort. You know how the last live stream, Walt, we talked about the zombie crawl and how the victim got arrested in that sort of scenario.
Yeah.
I did hear back from the victim's daughter, and bless her soul.
Well, what do we got?
Yes, the case was dropped. The case was dropped. And guess probably what helped out? Guess what helped out with that? Us. Reno News Now and Sacramento Community Watch.
Yeah.
Yes, we.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
We wound up providing the evidence to the defense. And once the defense turned it over as exculpatory evidence, the case just went poof out of their system. Just like with the Hoyt case. Just like with the Hoyt case. It went poof. So they have things that they can do at their disposal now. And as always, anytime that you're dealing with the legal system, my advice is to obtain a lawyer if you can. And don't try to do it pro se.
Speaking of, if there's anybody, and I mean anybody out there who knows a civil rights lawyer,
yes, we are looking for them.
Yes, please have them contact us. I do have a federal case that I'm going for with Officer Hoyt, who arrested me, took me to jail, and then a sergeant unarrested me, picked me up, took me home. So obviously there was wrongdoing in that, and any lawyer with that has any type of sense will pick this case up automatically.
And go check out our last live stream. We covered it all with that. And at this point, Hoyt is a dead issue. He's a tyrant. We're going to leave it at that. And the scarlet letter of the capital T there, folks. He is Officer Hoyt is a tyrant and possibly future gypsy cop. Yeah, tyrant. So
NT.
We're working on the appeal for the Sotelo case. At this point, we got 10 days to make some action happen. But please do us a favor, folks. If you can't donate any money, please donate your viewing time. Please go back and watch this on alternate channels, such as the Reno News Now or the ADHD Auditor. If you're catching us there afterwards, head on back over to Sacramento Community Watches and watch it again. We will. I listen to it work all day tomorrow. I'm on all channels. As much.
Shout out to all the other auditors out there, First Amendment auditors.
Yes, shout out to our favorites like Long Island Audit, Accountability for All. Shout out to
San Joaquin Jr.
Yes, we got tons of favorites. That's about all I have at this point. Like I said, we're going to be doing this Tuesday, starting at 7:00 on Tuesdays. So we hope that you guys come back.
We have tons of videos to show you guys. We have tons of yes. You guys will be blown away. Trust me.
What we're gonna be doing next, folks, is we're in the process of doing redactions. We're going through the body worn camera because we have unredacted video, folks, from the case. It's now ours. The case is closed. The evidence is ours just as much as it is Reno's. the city of Reno. So we're going through and we're doing our due diligence to make sure no personal identifiable information gets out about the carjacking, stolen car victims. I keep wanting to say carjacking. They weren't carjacked. It was a stolen car. It was stolen. The car was stolen from
That old ass car.
El Dorado.
Yeah, that car was built in like 1620.
Yeah, my car was newer and surprisingly shorter, and apparently had 4 doors. My car had 4 doors where they had 2. It was
right.
And if I do believe, I think Officer Sotelo was pulling on the gas cap cover pop, not the trunk pop. If I were to guess, I forgot to zoom in and take a look at that symbol on the lever he was trying to pull on the body cam. But yeah, we're redacting that video. We hope to hit by next week. We can have at least Sotelo's body cam fully redacted where things need to be redacted, and we're going to pull up his arrest report and compare it to the documents that we have, compare it to the body cam footage, and kind of go through it. And again, it's our evidence
comparison
in the court of public opinion to say, how was he delaying or obstructing? And
yeah,
again,
you guys are going to be blown away with the
what's a lawful order according to Reno police officer training by Officer Sotelo. It's anything that comes out of his mouth when he's wearing a costume. Yeah,
horrible
tyrant behavior.
Horrible.
So, yep.
Well, that's about it for us guys here.
So,
I mean,
yeah, thank you all for joining. Again, I can't stress it enough.
Love you guys.
Share,
Thank you so much.
Love you. Can't wait to see you next Tuesday. Have a good one, folks.
You guys have a good one. Have a good day.